The holidays have a funny way of stirring the pot, not just the soup, but the emotions, the history, the unspoken stuff that tends to come up when people who've known us forever all get together. And that's what we're exploring today on Lessons of the Journey.
Every lesson is a lyric in the universal song. Oh, the lessons of the journey, I weave them in my song.
In our last episode, Peace Over Perfect, redefining the holiday mindset, we talked about finding peace within yourself, that quiet, grounded sense of calm that doesn't depend on everything around you being perfect. But here's the thing. Peace within is one thing. Peace with other people is a completely different story. Because the moment we gather, whether it's around the table, in a living room full of memories, or even on a family group chat, something happens. The emotions shift, the dynamics return, and suddenly the calm you worked so hard to create starts to wobble a bit. And that's what we're exploring today, how to navigate those relationships with grace, how to stay grounded, compassionate, and connected, even when things feel complicated. I'm Coach Nicole here with Coach Jen to discuss another thing they didn't teach us in school, navigating relationships during the holidays. And we're calling this one Gathering Grace.
That's right. All the important stuff we didn't learn. So today we're starting with a concept called emotional time travel. Have you ever walked into a family gathering feeling confident, maybe even peaceful? You got all the good self-talk going, only to have one comment from a parent or a sibling transport you straight back to being 12 years old again? It's that moment where your chest tightens, your voice goes quiet, and your adult self disappears. There's actually science behind that. Psychologists call it the emotional time travel effect. A study from Emory University found that family interactions activate parts of the brain linked to early emotional memory. That means your nervous system doesn't always see your mom or brother or uncle as they are now. It sees who they were to you when you were little, and your body reacts accordingly. So when a family member makes that same old comment, the one you thought you were over, your brain goes, "Oh, we know this," and replays the same emotional pattern. But here's where your awareness becomes your power. When you notice that shift, the tension, the shrinking, the urge to defend, you can pause and remind yourself, I am not that version of me anymore. I can choose how to respond now. So let's get some practice in. This is a grounding pause. Let's try it right now. Take a slow breath in through your nose. In, exhale through your mouth. Feel your feet on the floor and the seat supporting you. You are here, not in the past, not in that story, but right here. When you feel yourself pulled into old roles this season, do this. Just one slow, steady breath to bring yourself back to now. Growth doesn't mean those moments stop happening. It means you start meeting them differently. That moment of recognition is everything. It's how you step out of the old script and write a new one. And that's what growth looks like. It's not avoiding triggers, but it's meeting them with awareness and choice.
This is fascinating to me. I am so surprised at how much in the past I have done this without even knowing that this was a thing. Time travel. This is what happens to me. I go back and suddenly everyone I'm connecting with is the people they were 20 years ago or 40 years ago. This is not reality.
Yes, same. I feel like I am seen in my family as the person I was 40 years ago. And I also find myself responding to my family members as though I'm like a teenager again, defensive and unknowing. And why are you questioning? And I'm like, girl, you are 44 years old. What the hell was that? Why would you talk to your dad like that? That was such a teenager thing. It's weird.
That's so funny. And how many times have we heard somebody who's like, maybe you're at a holiday gathering with a friend and you see how they interact and you're like, why are you acting like a child? You're an adult. Like, you're this strong, powerful person. And here you are showing up. This is exactly why.
Yes.
Yes. We can all relate to this. All right. We're going to go into a topic that Jen and I love. And yet it is often quite difficult. We're going to talk about one of the hardest but most loving skills you can bring to the holidays. We're talking about boundaries again.
Yeah.
So for many of us, the word boundary still feels uncomfortable, like we're being selfish or we're shutting people out. But in truth, a boundary isn't a wall. It's a doorway. It's how we teach others where connection thrives. By the way, it's your doorway. Whether you open it or not, whether you answer it or not, is up to you.
Mm-hmm.
The amazing Dr. Brene Brown says it beautifully. Boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously.
Oh, that's so great.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a powerful message because the holidays often pull us into old patterns of overextending, saying yes when we're exhausted, staying longer than we want, or smiling through moments that don't feel right. But here's what research from the University of Arizona found. People who set clear, compassionate boundaries during family gatherings actually reported less stress and more authentic connection. Why? Because they weren't pretending. They were being real. And connection can only exist where there's truth. So maybe this year, your boundary sounds like, I'd love to join for dinner, but I'll need to head home afterward. Or, I want to be part of this, but I'll take a little quiet time in the afternoon. Or even, I'd rather not discuss that topic this year. Let's talk about something we both enjoy. I'm going to say that one more time because I feel like that at the holiday table may be one of the most powerful things we can speak. I'd rather not discuss that topic this year. Let's talk about something we both enjoy. So boundaries, they don't have to be cold. They can be calm. They can be kind and consistent. And here's the magic. The more you practice them, the less you'll need to defend them.
Mm-hmm.
People begin to adjust to your new rhythm. Boundaries aren't about control. They're about clarity. Boundaries said with warmth don't push people away. They teach people how to love you better. So practice this. It's called the Yes That Matters check-in. Take a moment to think about your upcoming gatherings. What are you saying yes to this season that feels heavy, not heartfelt? Now ask yourself, what would a loving yes look like instead? Maybe it's saying yes to peace, yes to presence, yes to fewer obligations and more meaning. You don't owe anyone your burnout. Your calm energy is the real gift you bring.
Yes. But let's be honest here, Nicole. Every family has their holiday scripts. And you know them, the predictable moments that seem to repeat every year. It's the same joke. It's the same argument. It's the same dynamic that no one remembers starting, but everyone seems to know by heart. You might think, this year will be different. But then all of a sudden you're right back in it. And here's the truth. According to the Gottman Institute, we love the Gottmans, one of the leading centers for relationship research, around 69% of recurring conflicts are never fully resolved. 69%, y'all, never fully resolved. And guess what? That's okay. Because the goal isn't to fix everything. It's to navigate it with compassion. One helpful tool is what psychologists call the pause and label technique. When tensions rise, take a breath and silently name what you feel. I'm feeling tense. I'm feeling dismissed. I'm feeling defensive. That small act shifts your brain activity from the amygdala, which is the emotional reaction center, to the prefrontal cortex. And that's the part that handles empathy and reasoning. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you can see what's happening without being swept up in it. Here's your third practice. It's the emotional label reset. If, when conflict shows up this season, silently to yourself, name what you feel. Then ask yourself, what do I need right now? Sometimes it's space. Sometimes it's compassion. Sometimes it's just silence. When you name it, you reclaim your power. Remember, people's behavior is often about their wiring, not your worth. You cannot control how others show up, but you can always choose how you meet the moment. You can then respond with grace rather than react out of habit, because often what's underneath conflict isn't malice, it's misunderstanding. Behind criticism, there's sometimes care that doesn't know how to speak kindly. When you can hold that awareness, that people's behavior is often about their wiring, not your worth, you free yourself from taking everything personally. This is like screaming a conversation that I had with a client one time. She's from the Midwest. She lives out here with her husband and her 2 dogs, and they've chosen not to have children. And according to her family in the Midwest, that's like blasphemy, apparently. And every single time they go back to home to visit family, it's brought up, when are you going to have kids? Even though they've answered the question 1,000 times. We don't want kids. We are choosing not to have kids. We love our dogs. We love our life. We're good. And yet somehow it's a problem every single time. So we spent a solid 3 sessions working on the script, the canned response, the empathy, and the kindness that basically was like, I'm not going to take your wackiness on anymore. Asked and answered, like just like in a courtroom, right? Asked and answered. We're not doing this anymore. We spoke about so many techniques, changing the subject, standing firmly in your belief and doing it kindly, and just reiterating and having empathy for that other person. They don't have the tools to get beyond what it is that they're obsessing about. Just really having empathy for that, because I love what was just said there. They don't know how to say it kindly. So it sounds like criticism, when really there's some sort of dream within this conflict for them that they just don't know how to talk about. So this is real kind stuff, y'all. We work on it for sure.
So true. Great example. I think that's fantastic that you were able to go through that script, because I really think that's the key. If you have that same conversation over and over and over, every time you see your family, how are you going to prepare for it in the future?
Yeah.
I love that this brings up the concept of having compassion for the other person as well.
Yes.
Because sometimes my response don't have a lot of compassion for the other person, because I want to tell them to shove it where the sun don't shine. And yet the understanding that, you know, I can say, okay, if this is in the scenario you were giving, if this is a parent of theirs, maybe they were looking forward to being grandparents, and maybe that should be discussed. I know this might have been something you were looking forward to. What's important to you about me having children? Why is this such a thing for you? And getting to the root of, because for me, this is how you can love me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's such an interesting thing. And I don't know if everyone wants to have that conversation. By the way, I want to go back to, we talked about the jokes that are told. Do people not remember the jokes that they tell over and over and over?
I don't think they do. I think that people have their go-to, and more than likely they've been entertained by themselves for the longest time. And it's so funny when you go, oh yeah, you said that one before. And then you say the punchline, and then they get offended. Like, you ruined their story. You're like, oh, sorry, I didn't know I needed to hear it for the 7th time.
Now, I do have to say, as somebody who's 54 years old, if you're over 65, you can tell me the same thing over and over again. I'm like, you get a little something's happening there. I don't judge that. But when you're young and you're telling me the same stories or jokes over and over again, I'm like, all right. Go find a joke book. Look on the internet.
Yeah.
Ask ChatGPT for a new joke, please.
Well, I can kind of relate, not about the jokes. I don't remember jokes well, and not a great joke teller. However, I do speak to a ton of people on a regular. And as a coach, if I'm standing up on stage speaking, or if I'm giving stories to 1 or 2 or 20 clients, I do kind of forget which one I might have expressed that to, because when I hear it being an important story to share, I share it. And maybe I apologize to my clients if I've repeated stories too many times, but sometimes when you're just like rapid fire these stories, and if you think a joke is funny and you're telling it to everybody, you do kind of forget who you told it to, but you just got to know you told it to everyone already. And it's already a year old at least.
I agree with that. And we can say, have I told you this before?
Yes. Yes.
Because I, of course, will not remember all of the stories I've told to everyone. So I will ask my friends, have I told you this yet? And they're like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm not going to bore you with it again. And I always check because I forget who I tell things to. So yeah, that's legit. Thank you.
It was funny.
That's good clarity.
Yesterday, I was on with my coach and she was like, I may have told you this. If I already did, I'm going to tell you again. Just indulge me. There was no like, cut me off. If I already told you, she was like, I might have already told you, I'm going to tell you again, and you're going to let me. That's how that was presented.
And I think sometimes that's necessary, especially when we're dealing with clients and there's a message in there. Because it's like, wait, even if I've told you the story, you obviously haven't got the message yet. So I'm going to repeat the story. Yes. Oh, those are like coaching tricks. Shh, don't tell them. All right, let's talk a little bit about redefining connection. So we tend to think connection means everything feels right, that everyone gets along, that the conversations are deep and the hugs are long. But connection doesn't always look like that. Sometimes it's smaller, a moment, a glance, a shared laugh that slips through the cracks of tension. Dr. John Cacioppo, who spent decades studying human connection, found that even brief, genuine interactions can significantly boost our sense of belonging and joy. It's not the quantity of connection that matters, it's the quality. So this season, let's redefine connection. It doesn't mean fixing every relationship. It means being present enough to notice what's still good, what's still human in the people around you. Here's another practice for you. This is called the 3 moments of good. After each family gathering, write down 3 moments that felt good, even small ones, tiny ones, a shared laugh, a kind gesture, a quiet understanding. Train your mind to see what's working, not just what's hard, because gratitude rewires the brain to find safety and connection. Grace is not perfection. Grace is presence. Mm-hmm. It's allowing things and people to be unfinished and still loving them anyway.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that.
Grace is such a big message in my life right now. So I'm glad this was brought up.
This is hitting me real hard right now, this redefining connection. If you've heard us before, you know that Jen is be impeccable with your words, language freak. And this literally just came up in my relationship. Paul said, I'm just sad that we haven't found time to connect recently. And I was shocked because in that moment, I replayed 10 off the bat, little ways that I felt like we had connected over the last couple of weeks. Now, my mom was just here and the kids had a break. So it was a little bit of time and we didn't have the long drawn out connections, but in my mind, we really did make those little connections that mattered to me. And when he said this out loud, I thought, what are you talking about? Where have you been? What about this and this and this? And then instead of validating what he was thinking, I got defensive. Like, do you not care about what I care about? Right? The story in my mind. And what I didn't do was say, hey, what did you mean by that? We were working off of 2 different definitions of the word connection. And if you've heard our Be Impeccable with Your Words episode about the 4 agreements, you got to be working off the same definition. What do you mean by connection? What is really important to you in our moments of connection? And that's what Nicole was just talking about, the quality of the connection. Am I looking at connection differently than he is? And if we are, that's okay. But it matters that he knows what I mean when I say it, and I know what he means when he says it. So that's exactly right. It's the quality of the connection, and that each person is getting what they need out of that connection. So good. Thank you for that reminder.
I would also add to, if you're comfortable with the practice that we talked about, the 3 moments of good, maybe the next day, send a text or a message to the person who gave you that kind gesture and let them know what it meant to you.
Yeah.
Because so many small messages are missed.
Yeah.
And knowing it made you feel that way when I did this tiny thing is going to make that person feel good. And then you're going to feel good if you're comfortable with that person.
Yeah.
That's a way you could even take it a little further.
Yeah. I love that. It's the gratitude.
Yes. Creating that clarity around what is important. But great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Because, Jen, we do have to know when someone says, hey, I haven't been feeling connected. Okay, what feels like connection to you? Because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, wait, we did this, we did this, we did this, this happened, that. And then they may say something completely, and you're like, oh, well, that kind of connection we haven't had.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly
Love
right.
it.
All right, before we move on, let's take a moment to actually feel what that kind of connection is like. So if you're able, pause what you're doing just for a few seconds. Take a slow, steady breath in. And let it go. Now, imagine yourself at your next gathering. Maybe it's around a table. Maybe it's just walking into a familiar room. Picture yourself there, calm and grounded. You don't have to fix anyone. You don't have to prove anything. Just breathe. Feel your feet on the floor, your shoulders softening, your chest open. You are right here, steady, present, enough. Now imagine offering a gentle smile. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are showing up as you. This is connection. Not control, not performance, just your presence. Take one more deep breath in. And when you exhale, let that grounded energy settle through your body. Carry that feeling with you as we moved into the next part of today's conversation. It's about coming home to yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. It always feels good to breathe.
Yeah.
Returning to yourself after the gatherings are over, after the dinners, the conversations, the emotions that rose and fell, there's one more part of connection that often gets overlooked, and it's reconnection with yourself. Because even when you show up with awareness and grace, navigating relationships can still be draining. You've done emotional labor, listening, empathizing, managing energy, and your nervous system deserves care too. Psychologists call this emotional recovery. This is, with introverts, big.
Mm-hmm.
With extroverts, it's a little less. That's necessary, but for the introverts, this is huge. They have got to have emotional recovery. Yeah. It's what helps your body and brain reset after those high intensity social interactions. So a study from the University of Toronto found that people who built in small recovery rituals after family events, even something as simple as 10 quiet minutes alone, reported significantly lower stress and higher emotional resilience the next day. After your gatherings, try giving yourself what I like to call a grace reset. Oh. A small personal ritual that helps you release what's not yours to carry. How do we practice the grace reset? When you get home, take a few moments to just be still. Maybe light a candle, maybe take a slow shower, maybe brew some tea. Then ask yourself, what did I do well today? What can I let go of now? What do I need to refill my own energy? You can even place your hand over your heart and say, I showed up the best I could. That's enough. Because grace doesn't just mean giving others room to be human. It means giving that same room to yourself. When you do that, you close the loop of connection. You extend care outward, and then you bring it back home. That's how you stay whole during the holidays. Not by being perfect, but by continually returning to your center.
That is so right. Please don't forget yourself in all of this. It starts with you, it ends with you.
Absolutely.
And here's why it matters. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, compassion over control, you're doing more than keeping the peace for one evening. You're quietly rewriting an emotional pattern, one that may have been passed down for years. Because when you model calm, you honor your own limits and speak with kindness. You're showing others that love doesn't have to mean self-abandonment. That connection can be gentle. That family can evolve. This is the deeper purpose of Gathering with Grace. Not to have the perfect holiday, but to grow the emotional legacy you leave behind. To pass forward presence, not pressure, and peace, not performance.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
As you move through the gatherings ahead, the laughter, the noise, the memories, remember this. You don't have to replay every old story. You don't have to solve every tension or carry every role that you used to. Your peace is not dependent on anyone else's approval. It's something you cultivate, moment by moment, breath by breath. And when you meet others with grace, not by shrinking, but by staying steady, you become the calm in the room. That's how healing quietly begins.
Yes, that is my takeaway. That right there. I have a personal story. I was going through some stuff at some point in my life, as we all do. And my mother saw me as whatever version of me she saw. And I wasn't that. I had been significantly changed, but we don't live near each other. We get phone time, but she wasn't seeing the changes that were happening. And she was, oh my God, I'm so concerned about you, and all of that panic. And I was like, what is happening? Like, this is not even what's going on. And I felt so defensive, and I felt like I needed to continue to defend. It's not that. This is not happening. I'm good. I'm fine. And what my coach helped me realize was you don't have to say it. You just have to live it. You're not going to convince her with your words. You're going to convince her with your actions, with how you carry yourself, with doing the new thing, with creating the new patterns. So my takeaway from all of this is exactly that. Your last statement, Nicole, is it's us. It's walk the walk. You don't have to talk the talk. Just show up in all of what you've been practicing, and others will catch on. And if they don't, I'm okay too. That's my takeaway.
I think that's beautiful. And for me, the takeaway is this has been an underlying message for me for a while as I've been going through the growth I've been going through, is that my authentic version is not for everybody, but it's who I am and it's how I'm going to show up. 100%. And if it's not for some, that's okay. I'm okay with that. And yet, I think that authenticity is what people relate to. There's been a fear for me around I'm too much. Sometimes I'm too much. And what I've realized is the authentic me is big and loud and funny and jokey and also serious and controlling sometimes. but I make things happen. So there's a place for the things that I offer in the world, and I do have value and power in those things.
Yes.
And part of that is it's interesting being married to someone like my husband, who's the jokey, fun, everyone wants to be around him kind of guy. Like my husband is generally everyone's cup of tea. I'm not. But if you need to get something done, I'm the one you call. We both have value. It's just different. I'm learning to embrace that value in how I show up and show up more authentically. And this again encourages the show up as yourself.
Yeah.
There's this messaging. I think I've mentioned this before, but one of the things that I put on as my daily affirmation often is no one else's version of me is my responsibility. And I just have to show up authentically.
Yes. Yes.
And if I'm your cup of tea, rock on, we'll hang out together. And if I'm not, it's okay. Move on, find someone else. I still send you love and light.
You're my cup of tea, Nicole. I love it. Yes. There's no happiness outside of our own authenticity. I've learned that like so many times. And I love that. I love that for you. I love that for me. I love that for all of us. Can we take a page out of Nicole's book?
It's not always easy.
No, it's certainly not. Okay. Question time. All right. You know, I like to go first.
I know.
Okay. If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your phone, which 3 would you keep?
Does that include my phone itself?
No, on your phone, you have about 1 million apps, as we all do. Which 3 would you keep if you had to get rid of every single one of them?
Photos.
Yep.
Maps.
Okay.
You could call me. You don't have to text me. Honestly, lately, probably ChatGPT.
Yes.
Okay, so I keep photos because I have everywhere we go. I'm the photographer. My whole life is in photos, and I love my photos. And I look at my photos of my grandkids all the time. I use photos extensively. The maps because I'd be lost without it. That's just the reality. And ChatGPT, because I find myself instead of Googling things, I ask ChatGPT because one of the things I love about it the most right now is anytime somebody's trying to sell me something, because I am susceptible to these things, you know, I'll see an ad on TV and I'm like, oh, I need that red light for my face. I'll go to ChatGPT and be like, do I need that red light for my face? And it'll go, no, because you have this and this, and you've told me about your skin, and this would probably be better for you. So I'm like, oh, you're not trying to sell me anything. So
I love it.
That's probably the 3 I would keep. Yeah.
I don't know if I turned this on, but all of a sudden I started asking Siri questions, and it was like, do you want me to use ChatGPT to answer that? And I'm like, no, I asked you. What are we doing? Why? I would have just asked ChatGPT if that's where I was trying to go. But I hear you on that.
I'm the person who's like, oh yeah, I'm in that aging range of the beauty products are all trying to sell to me, anti-wrinkle, anti-this, anti-that. Does this work? It'll do the research and no, not really. I'm like, okay, thanks for telling me the truth.
Nice. Best friends.
Advice and information. I love it. That's a great question. Okay, your question is, what is the weirdest dream you've ever had while sleeping? No daydreams.
Oh gosh, I'm sure there's been plenty. Weird. I think I had a weird one last night. What was that one about? Okay, I don't know if this is weird, but it's one I remember that I might always remember. So let's just call it weird. It was maybe a couple of months after Elvis died. And a bunch of people was like, oh, are you dreaming about him? And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, it was a very weird time, grief and, you know, all of that. And it was months later, I had this dream and I was in a place, I'm not going to call it heaven because I don't know what it was, but it was gold. And not like that creepy looking gold. It was a very ornate golden room of gigantic size. And there was no sound I remember taking in, like, what is this? I wanted it to be ugly because it was so gold, but it was just gorgeous. And then off to the side, there was a chaise lounge. I'm obsessed with chaise lounge. I don't know why. I just love them. I want 100 of them in my house. I love a good chaise. And there was Elvis just chilling in the chaise, just like a little what's up, a little hey. We didn't talk, but I was like, is this heaven? Are you in heaven? What is this? What is this place? Like,
Wow.
why are you on my chaise? Like, what is, that's a good one. I want that one in my house, right? Like, and that was it. That was my dream. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but it looks like he's in a cool spot. So
That's pretty wild.
that's like one that sticks out. And I know there were times in my life where I wouldn't remember any dream. And then sometimes you're like, whoa, that was a vivid one. Couldn't tell you what it was. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I definitely had some dreams last night. And I could tell you some names that were in them, but I couldn't tell you what happened. But that one sticks out to me as like a, okay. It was vivid as all get out. And so I don't know if it was weird, but it was certainly there. That
I have to ask you a follow-up question.
Sure.
Because this has been a discussion. After somebody passes, are they visiting you in your dreams? And that's the way people will term it. Are they visiting you in your dreams? So after my dad passed, no. And I was like, great. So my dad doesn't even want to see me after.
That's how I felt. Yeah.
Then you get this, is it me? Or am I not making up dreams about this person because I'm a horrible person? Then this whole guilt trip comes in. I have had a few dreams about my father, but it's just interesting how that becomes a whole nother portion of the grief guilt.
Yes.
I don't like this part. I don't need extra.
Maybe only in Hawaii, and whoever is not familiar with this will think that I'm the wackiest. But over here in Hawaii, and I don't know if you had them in Maui, but we have them here. They are these large black moths.
Yes.
Sometimes it's called witch moths. And Hawaiian folklore, I don't know, Hawaiian stories say that that is a deceased loved one visiting you if those big black moths come around. Now, I wasn't dreaming about Elvis. He wasn't showing up in my dreams, but I will tell you that one of those black moths visited me daily for a long time shortly after. And when I tell you that I'm alone in a room having out loud conversations with a moth, you'd think that I'm absolutely insane. But there I was having conversations. I could feel it. I was like, this is Elvis. And it would be like, sometimes it was calm and sometimes it was like everywhere. And it took me a minute and I went, oh, this is him visiting me. Like in whatever form. Oh, that's what this is. And so, yeah, he wasn't visiting me in my dreams, but we were having a conversation regularly via the black moth that would come and visit me regularly. So there you go.
Look, either it's real or it's not, and it makes you feel better. Either way is fine with me.
Yep. Got some things off my chest.
Embrace it. Oh my gosh.
I know. Next time on Lessons of the Journey, we'll close this holiday series with something special. A conversation about joy in the quiet moments. Not the picture perfect, posted on social media kind of joy, but the kind that slips in quietly when we're truly present. A shared laugh in the kitchen, the smell of something baking, the soft pause between songs, the way light catches someone's smile. Those are the moments that remind us joy doesn't have to be big to be real. It just needs our attention. So if you know someone who could use a little less stress and a little more presence this season, please share this episode with them. Until then, take a deep breath. Let the holidays unfold exactly as they are. Imperfect, beautiful, and human. And meet them with grace. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Write your lines with passion, let your spirit freely roam. The lessons of your journey will lead you safe.